Welcome in, Bronco Nation. Today we're going to be looking at some film from Colorado State. It's our upcoming game tomorrow. We're going to look at kind of where they suffer, their weaknesses and their strengths, and how we might be able to win this one, which we desperately need. They are one of the worst teams in the conference right now statistically, so one of the worst records. So we definitely, should be able to win this one. We're going to talk about how we do it. So let's jump right in. First, we're going to look at Colorado's run defense. I think this is where we can really excel. They tend to be a little bit slow to react on the running, and especially somebody like Dylan Riley that has the speed is really going to be able to capitalize on that. So we can see UNLV brings their lineman over, shifts him to the other side, and he sets the end here. This allows this guy to break open. Now, what I mean by slow response, I want you to watch the linebacker here. Sorry, not that guy, this guy right here. He sees it happening already. He sees the run. He's making his attempt over here. But he's slow to get there, and he's slow enough and doesn't have a great angle on it where he just can't do anything. Now, he saw this developing from the very beginning. Right here, he breaks. He's already seeing it develop. But he's slow enough that he's not able to close out the lane. And then simultaneously, we have a cornerback here. Goes to cover the pass, sees right now that it's a run, and starts to jump over. Now, he's far enough away, you would think he could probably get over there, and yet he can't quite catch the guy. Now, this is a quick running back, right? This is no slouch of a running back. So part of it is him being very fast. But part of it is them not responding quick enough, being fast enough themselves as players to get there and close the lanes. And I think somebody like Dylan Riley has the same amount of speed as this running back. So I think he's able to capitalize just like this. Now, let's look at another one. They have a wide receiver in motion this time. The tight end jumps over and switches sides. We see this a lot from Boise. The tight end jumps over, hits this guy to open up a gap right here. And once again, I want to point out this linebacker. He runs up, makes a little bit of contact with this guy and pushes him aside, and is just too slow responding to really do much. So they have this tendency to be just, a step behind, especially with this running back. And like I said, I think Dylan Riley is on point as far as speed goes with this guy. So this little bit of slowness is something that we can definitely capitalize on and take advantage of. If you guys are liking this video, share it, subscribe. It really helps us out as we're a new channel. We'll keep bringing you more content. All right, so let's switch gears and look at their pass defense a little bit here. We have this wide receiver goes in motion, sees it. Now what happens here is it's a little bit of a play action, right? We can see when he snaps it, he fakes the handoff just a little bit. These guys all step up. And it's just enough to get this guy open. We're going to look at this from a little bit of a different angle here that shows it a bit better. So this guy moves up when he sees the play action. We already have a lot of distance between him and the cornerback. And all he really has to do is move inside just a hair. This guy really doesn't adapt and follow much. And he's just wide open. So once again, a little bit slow to respond. A lot of room between him and the cornerback. And I think if they do this with us, somebody like Cam Bates is really going to be able to take advantage of this. He has the speed to get open in moments like this and probably even take it home. This one's going to be kind of a wheel route. So watch the running back and watch these wide receivers. What's going to happen is these wide receivers are going to break to the inside, and it's going to open up this whole side of the thing. You can see all of the DBs start crashing on these two and kind of forget about this guy. And it gets him wide open. He's able to make a pretty good play on this. Let's watch that again. Bring him in motion to start the distraction. They move these guys in on a kind of a slant route, and that's going to pull all of these DBs to the inside to block those guys, while the running back slips right out underneath them. So this is something we see from Boise quite a bit. You know, they like to run running back screens, some running back wheel routes like this. I think it's a spot where we can really take advantage of them. And I think this is going to be a test for Potter. Is he able to see that they respond like this and draw up some stuff that takes advantage of it? Or are we just running, like, for instance, a screenplay? You know, if we take the same thing and we run it into a screenplay, these guys are going to run up and then block upfield a little bit, and this guy's going to get out. Well, that's fine, but it really doesn't take these guys out of the play. We're just blocking them, hoping they can't make a tackle. But we see that they respond by movement. So if we can utilize that movement to get them across the middle, it's going to open up the space, and we're going to be able to get more yardage per pass or per run. So I think, you know, if we see Potter running screenplays and stuff instead of little wheel routes like this, it might just show that he's not reading those defenses and game planning for them as adequately as he could be. Like I said, this was one of my complaints with San Diego State. San Diego State had a lot of opportunity to take advantage of them in their not slow response, but quick response. They were so fast at responding to quick, like anytime they would see a run, they would move up immediately. Anytime they would see a pass, they would drop back and cover their zones immediately. They were very quick to respond, which is great for a defense. But when you see that, you can exploit it, right? You can drop back like you're going to pass it, and then once they move back to their zones, do a late handoff and let them run right up that gap. That was something we saw Hawaii do quite a bit against them, and they were able to win that game. And then simultaneously, kind of on the other side of it, instead of dropping back for a pass, you can play action or run. They all move up, and that opens up the routes and opens up the play field for the wide receivers to get open. And we really didn't see them do either of those things. They just kept running it up the middle over and over again. So that was a little bit disappointing to me. You know, I saw these opportunities going into the game and called them out in our pregame video for San Diego State, and yet their offensive coordinator and other coaches are not seeing this and game planning adequately for it. So that's a big concern of mine. Now let's shift gears here a little bit, and instead of looking at their defense, we're going to look at their offense. We have statistically a pretty good defense this year. We've seen a lot of improvement from the DBs, a lot of improvement in other areas. The main thing that we're still lacking on quite a bit is the tackling. Our tackling is still not quite up to par. We talked about this yesterday a little bit in our video where Ricky Chongachu is a defensive end for Boise State. He was on, and he was saying what he sees is they leave their feet a lot. They're diving at the guys, either throwing a shoulder or trying to wrap up, but leaving their feet when they do so. And he said, you know, it's important that you're not diving and leaving your feet, but you're actually running into them, wrapping up, and using your legs to drive through them to secure the tackle. And he said that that's kind of a technique opportunity that Boise State has. So let's see kind of what Colorado State looks like in their offense, and if that's going to be an issue. We're going to start out with a run play here. They snap the ball. We see one block is missed. He's able to follow his blockers pretty well and really runs right into these guys, but they're not able to secure the tackle. I think with our defensive linemen, if this similar situation were to happen where this guy falls trying to make the block, I think our guy's probably going to get over more and make the tackle. They have a little bit better angles on their linemen. And then we see right here this diving tackle, just like we saw right there. If this guy were to not get down from that tackle, he's gone. You know what I mean? There's no one else to stop him. Once you throw yourself off axis like that, you're really taking away your opportunity to hold the guy and drive him to the ground. It's just hanging on as he drags you at that point, hopefully, which most of the time they run out of it. They're pretty good at running and passing, honestly. It's definitely a stronger, their offense is stronger than their defense. Luckily, our defense has been doing pretty well other than the tackling. So I think our DBs are going to be able to contain them pretty well. Let's look at their pass offense, what that looks like. And they do something similar to what we were looking at with that wheel route. They like to distract people. So we see this wide receiver is going to run in, and he brings this guy in man in kind of right next to this bunch. What this is going to allow him to do is run up and pushes this guy, once again within the 5 yards, so it's legal, pushes him and blocks this guy out of the play. And we can see that that tight end pops open for a touchdown. So let's run it back. This tight end right here is just going to slip right underneath this guy who goes up and distracts. And even right now, he's already in a touchdown as long as he makes the pass. Like, there's nobody over here that's going to be able to get to him fast enough to really make that play. And we see this a lot from Colorado State. They have some really nice short, well-designed short plays that break a guy open with distractions and crossing routes. Let's look at another example of that. So a similar thing here. We're going to look at the two wide receivers at the bottom. We have this guy that they're kind of manned up, right? So he's trying to block him and he's trying to block him. What he's going to do is walk over and make contact with both of those guys. And that's going to slow down the guy who's supposed to cover him enough so he can get open. We also have a blitz happening here. So we have these two linebackers are going to move up and blitz. And he slips right behind him. And there's nobody to cover him because these top DBs are going to be in man as well. So they're pretty much covered up. And really, it's all this distraction down here by this guy, this contact that opens up the play. Quarterback sees it pretty quickly. Even under pressure, dumps it off. Is able to get it to the guy in open space. And then he turns it upfield and gets a first down. So we see this type of short crossing distraction plays, if you will, a lot from Colorado State. I think we'll see it quite a bit against us. So our DBs and our linebackers need to be prepared for that. And vice versa. We should be doing that exact same thing against them. It's, Cutforth is very good in those short and medium passes, and their defense is slow to respond to stuff like this. So I think it's an opportunity for us to take advantage of them doing plays like this, and it's something that we also need to watch for. Here's another pass play. Let's take a look at what happens here. We have this wide receiver going to make the catch. We have two running backs to block, which I would not be opposed to seeing them do with Cutforth back there. He doesn't respond to pressure very well. And I think if Boise did something like this, where we have two running backs back there able to pass block for him, it's going to really allow him a lot more time to pass without having to worry about the pressure as much. Especially on these deep plays. Like we saw earlier, we can take advantage of them on some of those, but we need to give him the time to do it. So they're playing a zone, and these guys kind of move up into the zone. That allows him to get right past this guy. He doesn't really even try. We can see him already seeing what's happening, and he's going to start folding over and trying to block him. Makes the pass. And I think that linebacker is just not able to really make a very good play on this. He's a bit out of position. Once again, safeties come in, make the tackle. This shows that they do have an ability to throw it up and over. They have an ability for those deep passes, for those shot plays. Once again, it's something that our DBs and our linebackers need to be prepared for. Good accuracy as well by the quarterback. Now we're going to look at a play here that is kind of an example of a not so great pass play by them. This is kind of their ugly side. And something we can take advantage of. So we saw some great quarterback accuracy from the last one when he was sitting in the pocket. On this one, he runs out, folds to the left, and he's going to have to throw crossbody on the run, which is not a great throw. And we can see when he is on the run, his accuracy really suffers. They're able to make an interception here. So this is something, you know, our defensive line and our linebackers and our defensive coordinator needs to scheme up a little bit to get some pressure in there. If we can get a little bit of pressure in there, see, this guy was wide open running for him. This was already kind of designed for him to roll out, but if we can get pressure, it forces him to roll out or take a sack. And he's not the best at throwing on the run, especially out to the left like that. So an opportunity there for us to take advantage of them a little bit. So those are just some things I saw in their film that I think both present some opportunities and some challenges for us, the things we need to watch for, and also the things that we can exploit. I think Nate Potter should be able to diagnose these same things in their film. And if he's not able to, if they're not game planning around this and strategizing around it, it shows, you know, a little bit of an inadequacy in Nate Potter's ability to game plan for certain defenses. I think any good offensive coordinator should be able to see that throughout most of their games, you know, they're slow to respond to certain things like we showed here today. And I think we need to utilize that. We should see him utilizing that. If we don't, it's going to raise even more questions about Potter, I think. There have been games this year where I've seen him do some really nice creative game calling. And I think this is an opportunity for him to do really well. So I'm really looking forward to this game. I think this one's going to be a win for us. With the way our offense has been playing, I don't know if it's going to be a blowout type situation like this. UNLV game was 42-10. Towards the end there, this was 11 minutes ago, and it's 42-10 already. I don't know if it's going to be like that. I think it's going to be more like a 24-10 situation. Maybe like a 30, you know, 30-ish, 31 to win, 31-10. Maybe even like a 31-14. I think they might even be able to score a couple times on us, but yeah, I think I'm gonna go with, man, I'm torn between like a 24-10 or a 31-10, but I think it's gonna be somewhere between those. So go ahead and throw your guys' score predictions down underneath in the comments. Any commenting, like, subscribe, all that stuff really helps us. We're a new channel trying to gather our footing. There was kind of a lack of actual tactical film review of Boise State, and I felt like it was something that I wanted to see more, so I went ahead and created it. If you guys like it as well, once again, share this video, subscribe. We'll get you guys more and more of it. We'll see you guys next time. We're going to do a post-game recap, so check back after the game, and we'll see you guys then.